One of the main sort of things that I would really recommend anybody does is realizing that saying no is one of the most positive things you can do for yourself. If it, so turns out like, hey, this is, I mean, if you work on things long enough, you'll find that, yeah, you get an instinct for a stinker or somebody that's out there to, I get people in, still to this day, I get people in that try to weasel their way with something that I know is bad. Like I have a guy that he's a collector and he has an early Gibson J185. With that, I mean, between 1952 and 1954, these instruments were made in a very specific and odd way. And like resetting a neck on these things is one of the most difficult ones I know from all the guitars that I've worked on. And these guys come by like 3 or 4 times saying, can you lower the action on it for him? I'm saying, no, it needs an exit. No, can you just lower the action just a little bit? And going like, I told you, the neck is dead straight, the saddle is gone, the action is high, it needs an exit, and that's about $1,200 to $1,500. Take it or leave it for the 4th time. And the guy keeps trying it. And I just say, I finally said, no, don't come back with this guitar or any guitar for that matter.
I like the sound of that. Like it really does. Like, I mean, the ones where there's no winning and it's just on and on and on with endless emails and stuff, like a lot of these guys take into consideration none of that when they think about how much they're paying you. Like they're not respectful of the time. But
no, and the time is, your time is, you have to be paid for that. I mean, as for what it is we do, you have 2 goals. One, do the job as well as you can, but the other one is get yourself paid properly to what it is you think it's worth. And that's really important. It's just as important as like doing the job right, because if you already know that you're not going to get paid for something properly, working on it, you can only work for so long for love and no money before you become sour. I mean, that was one of the hard things in one of those fancy stores that I worked in, because I found out that about at least half of the vintage inventory was on consignment, which means that they wanted to sell it, so they wanted the money. The store took 20% or whatever it was, and it needed an exit. And I'm going like, well, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to sell this? Well, can't you do a cheap exit?
You've been there. A friend of mine's in Nashville, and he does some work for some of the stores that we used to, or some of the people that we used to work for. And his thing is, the interests of a repair person and the interests of a store owner are the only thing that we have in common with them is that there's a guitar involved in it. Like all of the other interests are completely going at odds with each other. Yeah, I mean, of course, the dealer wants to get the guitar out with the least amount of, with the highest amount of profit, and we have to attach our reputations to the work. And I'll tell you what, like I see stuff getting represented on like some of the online sellers like Reverb and G-Bass or something, and they'll put like, my buddy's name on it or my name on it, or I'll see a repairman attached to it, and I'm like, don't do that. Like what? Like why? Why do that?
I just had one last week of a guy that wanted me to do his guitar, his J45, and I said, I'm sorry, you're in Brooklyn, I'm in Massachusetts right now, I can't do this, but here is like the contact of 4 people I trust with this guitar. And he wrote me back saying, oh no, I want you to do it because I want to sell it and I want to have your name on it. That was in an email. And it was just like, well, that's why we do stuff, I mean, I can't, the only thing I can really do say is like, make sure you're independent and that you don't have anyone to tell you what to take in. And then, if you love your work, you probably figure it out soon enough what it is. But if you're not independent, I would not be able to, I've never been able to work for, for a factory, be a warranty center. because, especially from the time that I started doing this, I do not want to be told what my your work is worth and like how am I supposed to do it.
Yeah.
There was a very famous factory that insisted I do half-assed work if I wanted to be a warranty repair person. And you'll be unhappy because all of us want to do the best that we can do. And the only way that we can get better is to be challenged. And if you have like 50 jigs for every, factory job, it's not a challenge. It's like a snooze. Fortunately, I mean, as a kid, I noticed I was really good at copying things. Like I was always copying stuff from Mad Magazine, all those amazing artists, and I was always drawing stuff, and I was pretty good at it. And then I realized, I'm pretty good at copying things, and I never really wanted to do that because, as we all do, as either guitar makers or guitar repair folks, you have your own voice and you need it and you have it. The only problem is if you start out, it takes a little while to find your voice. And the problem with all the sort of copycat stuff is that it sort of does not, it sort of inhibits your necessity to come up with something that is you, because we all have a voice, whether we bake bread or repair guitars or invest money. You have all your knowledge that you can think of, but if you don't have the instinct of like, if I turn this rod one more little thing, either the front end of the thing is going to explode or the thing is going to break off. So instinct is really important, but a lot of us might not know physically what we're doing, but we know a diamond if we hold it in our hand. And that's really important, that you sort of give yourself that self-confidence that like, I might not know exactly what I'm going to do here, but I know that this is a good thing and I'm going to do it. And that's really important because, again, that whole thing about finding your own voice is for me super important, because we all do, except that modern technology does not allow you to really cultivate it.